is a must-win for us. You know, we got to do whatever we can to go out there and secure that NFC East division title. And I mean, we just gotta know that nothing's gonna be given to us. We gotta go out there and take everything. So we just gotta have that mindset going into this Sunday, so we can come out there winning.
All right, Shannon, what does this tell you?
Well, it tells me Zeke gets it. I also he had a comment when they told him about him being selected to the Pro Bowl. He said it's a huge honor to be selected by coaches, peers, and the fans, but that's not the bowl that I'm really interested in. Super Bowl is the ultimate goal. So I love what I'm hearing from Zeke, and he's absolutely right. Skip, and I told you this. You want to go ahead and secure this, the NFC East title, as quick as you can, because now, do you really want to go on the road, the last game, and face a division opponent when they can knock you out of the playoffs? You would like to have this secure, so that way, if you have someone that's a little nicked, you can get them a break. Zach Martin, do you really want to bring Zach Martin back against the Giants? Let him rest. Give him that extra week of rest. Zeke is at 358 touches. That's 43 more than Todd Gurley, who's number 2. So you go ahead and secure it, you probably can sit Zeke down. Zeke, I understand you want that rushing title, but like you said, we don't really have trophies in our building for rushing titles. We got 5 Lombardis, and that's what we're really trying to stack. So that's what you really want to do. And Zeke is absolutely right. Nothing is going to be given. Skip, when I look at the Cowboys, I never thought they were as good as their 5-game winning streak because of the way that they had to win these games. All these games were one score. So it could have easily gone. It wasn't like a situation that just blew teams out. Zeke got an opportunity to come out and rest the fourth quarter. Dak got an opportunity to sit down. The games were really, really nip and tuck, which tells me that they're going to have to play these games. They're going to have to play a perfect game in order to win. And a lot of them, they weren't. The defense was unbelievable. Offense got some big key third downs, big touchdowns. So I really never thought they were as good as that 5-0 record would indicate. But Skip, I'm telling you, you look at who they lost to, Carolina, and we saw Cam look like they're going to shut Cam down. Seattle in playoff hunt. Houston leading the division, 10-4, I think. Indy in the playoff hunt. Good quarterback, running back combination. Well, get to the playoffs, that's what you're going to face. New Orleans can run the football. The Rams can run it. I don't know if they're going to continue to let Jared Goff throw it 800 times a game. So, Skip, for me, I love what Zeke's saying, and I believe they're going to echo this in that locker room. But they need to go ahead and handle business. They really need to look good at Tampa. Because this Tampa has the type of defense that you should get right against. Whatever's ailing you, you play Tampa and that defense, you should feel really good about yourself coming out of that game. So I'm going to be watching this game very intently. It's not really high on my radar because Tampa don't really razz my Barry Jenny, as the old folks used to say. But I want to watch and see what Dallas does. It's more about Dallas than Tampa because they should come out this game, Skip, feeling good about themselves, the NFC champs, NFC East champs, and go to New York the final week of the season, get Zeke some rest. Zach Martin, you go ahead and take it off and get healthy because we're going to need you opening week of the wild card weekend.
So I hear everything you just said, and I don't buy anything you just said.
What happened?
Really?
I like what Zeke said. I don't believe he really believes what he said, and I'm not real convinced this whole team and locker room believes what Zeke was saying, that they need to take care of their own business. I'm going to say this again. This is the mindset of this team. It went through a 5-game revenge tour, and it got even with Philly twice. Not once, but twice. It got even with the Redskins for that debacle of a penalty that got called on them at Washington, and that was on Thanksgiving. Got even with the Redskins. Got even with those Falcons in Atlanta, the scene of the crime last year that was such a humiliation and embarrassment for Dallas. And they got even with a lot of critics, such as the one sitting across from me, who said they're going to get embarrassed at home on Thursday Night Football by Drew Brees, who came in with the #1 high-flying offense, scoring 37 points a game, and was statistically at that point having the greatest quarterback year in the history of pro football. That was Drew Brees going to Dallas that Thursday night, and obviously he left with his tail between his legs, 13-10.
And they barely scored 37 points in the next 3 games.
That is correct, and we'll discuss that later. But the point is that my team, as Jenny pointed out, then took foot off gas, because my team woke up the next day and thought, wait a second, we got a 2-game, this is after Philly, we got a 2-game lead in the NFC East, and Philly and Washington have 2 of the toughest closing schedules in pro football. And I love my team with incentive. I love my team with urgency. I love my team with backs to wall. And you know what? Why I fear this game Sunday? Their backs are still not completely to the wall. Am I right about it? Do they have to? Is this a do or die game? No. It's not do or die. So here comes Tampa. And to your point, what is the fatal flaw for my Dallas Cowboys? What do they do the worst? Score in the red zone, right? They don't cash. They can drive it like crazy. And they went into the Indy game #1 in time of possession because they can drive it and drive it and drive it. And they drove it in the first half. 10 plays and 14 plays and 15 plays and came away with 0. And they are last in the NFL in scoring percentage in the red zone. Guess who is worst on defense in the entire NFL in allowing red zone scores? Tampa's defense. Okay, so you have what we do the worst against what they do the worst. So you would think, oh, well, this is our time, right?
Yep.
Now we can go in there and cash like 5 touchdowns, right?
Yes.
And win it like we did against Jacksonville 40-7, right?
Yes.
I got to tell you, Jameis scares me. Do you realize his QBR for the year, and I know he hadn't played the whole year, but his QBR is 5th in the league. He's having a good year.
That lets you know how flawed QBR is because here's a guy that's been benched twice for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I got you, but over the last 4 games, he has played really well.
But Skip, they lost them all. They've only won.
No, they're 2-2. They're 2-2, and they whacked San Francisco. And San Francisco's not bad with this rookie quarterback, right?
Okay, I'll give you that one.
So they beat him 27-9, and he had a QBR of 93. Jameis did in that game.
Okay.
And then they beat Carolina, and Cam threw for 300 yards in that game.
And 3 picks.
Okay, he did, but Jameis had a QBR of 90 in that game. Then the Saints, they had the Saints on the ropes. It was 14-all, and then there was a block punt, and New Orleans escaped with that game with bad offensive stats, 28-14. And then Tampa went to Baltimore, and it was 20-12. They hung in there. Jameis's numbers weren't very good, but nobody's numbers are very good against Baltimore because they got the best defense in pro football. So the point is, Tampa is game. Tampa hasn't quit. Tampa will come and fight you. So it looks too easy, which is why I'm a little queasy about it, because in the backs of their minds, they know if they really have to, if they really need to, what can they do? They can go up to New York and beat the Giants. Would that be simple? It would not be simple.
I would rather go ahead and take care of
Okay, well, so would I.
Tampa,
well,
as opposed to the Giants.
Well, as a fan who still has a pending bet with somebody across from me, I need them just to finish this thing off.
But Skip, you can't feel comfortable with Jameis Winston.
Do I feel comfortable? I feel uncomfortable because I think he is capable of having a big game.
Well, Skip, they took him with the #1 overall draft pick, so you know he's more than capable.
How good is Mike Evans?
Mike Evans is a very good receiver.
Okay.
But you got Byron Jones, who's a Pro Bowler.
Okay. Yeah. How good is Deshaun? Is he still capable?
Yeah.
Yeah. He can run by people.
Deshaun, ever since Deshaun made that statement that he wanted to go somewhere else, he hadn't been the same, Skip. I mean, you hadn't been getting those big plays.
Okay. So last week, I'm convinced that they thought Philly would go with Nick Foles to L.A. and lose that game. And they thought that Washington with Josh Johnson would go to Jacksonville and lose that game. Neither happened, which means it's still up for grabs. Yep. So have you seen what's happening to the point spread of Houston at Philadelphia? Do you realize that Houston opened as a 3.5-point favorite, and now Philly is a 2.5-point favorite? That has swung 6 points.
The money.
Guess why? Nick Foles.
Man, I'll stop it.
Nick Foles, because everybody saw what Nick Foles did for that team against the Rams. They looked they dominated that game. Am I right?
Well, I think the thing is also, Skip, they saw how poorly the Texans played against the Jets.
They played poorly. Now, and they lost to Andrew Luck the week before at home.
So you would think, hold on. Now, Nick Foles, I'm not saying that he's Carson Wentz, but I like to think he's better than Sam Darnold. I would like to think that the Eagles as a team are better than the Jets. So the Vegas know what they're doing.
Okay, no, but this is just the batters are jumping on the Nick Foles bandwagon, and that spread has swung just in a few days. It's swung 6 points.
Yeah,
you
don't normally see that.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is your team that you bet on, they're not done yet. My team could finish them by finishing Tampa.
Right.
But am I convinced of this?
You could have finished them Sunday. But I keep telling you, you're not as good as you thought.
Okay. I think if their backs are to the wall, when they have to do it, that's when it brings the best out.
Oh, but here's the thing. There's sometimes when your back is against the wall and that pressure becomes so insurmountable.
Yep.
Because now we've seen what you guys have done, Skip, in the past when that pressure on that back in the wall.
Yep.
Remember the Dak's rookie year playoff?
He was great. I don't know what you keep like revising history.
But here's the thing.
What are you talking about? He was sensational. He threw for 303 touchdowns.
I don't know if Skip understands how this sport, how this team thing works. A guy can be great within a team aspect.
Sure.
But if his team loses, he gets to go home with his team. He doesn't get to move on.
Okay, well, his team fell behind 21-3 in that playoff game against Aaron Rodgers.
Well, who was the quarterback?
And then Dak Prescott brought them all the way back to 31 all.
I'm trying to figure out who was the quarterback at the time that they were falling behind. Was it someone else?